Hi, this is Dan Heisman, Philly tutor for Chess FM, and this is the Improve Your Chess video series for ICC members. In today's game, we're going to look at a 45-45 game, so let's get right to it. White opened up c4. English can transpose also into some d4 openings. Black plays e5, reverse Sicilian for obvious reasons. That is, if white plays e4 and c5, you get the exact same position as this, except with colors reversed. White plays knight c3, the most common move. The second most common move is g3. Knight c6, the most common move there is knight f6, but knight c6 is very common too. And now white normally plays either g3 or knight f3. White plays g3. Black has a variety of moves here. He decides to play f5. This is sort of a reverse Grand Prix attack. White plays d3. That's not necessary. He could play bishop g2 there. He could play for d4 with e3 and d4. So he plays d3, bishop g2, bishop b4. Alright, so here black can give up the bishop pair to double white's pawns. And if he wants to do that, white should kind of just let him. So I let the computer think for a while here, and its number one move was bishop d2. Kind of passive looking, but it does prevent the doubled pawns. Gets out of the pin. The second most common move, which is maybe the move that I would play, is knight to f3, just to castle, get out of the pin that way. You have to watch out for e4 when you do that, so that's the tricky line when you play knight f3. White plays a3. As a good general rule, if your opponent is, quote, threatening to take off your knight and double your pawns and like that, just let him. Don't force him to do it. Now, if bishop takes c3 is a terrible move and he would never do it, then a3 makes a lot of sense and you would play that automatically. But if bishop takes c3 is okay for black, which it is here, then let him play it. Don't waste the tempo playing a3. And if we look at white's clock, he played that move very quickly as if it's kind of automatic. And when you're out of your book, just one of the things we've learned looking at all these videos, we've done almost a couple hundred amateur games here, is for some reason amateurs want to play fast in positions where the moves aren't 100% clear what they should do. And a lot of times they play fast and they play moves that aren't even that good. So this is just a habit you really have to break if you're going to be a good player. So bishop takes c3, b takes c3, logical. Black plays d6. And now the computer suggests white should play rook b1 when maybe black has a microscopic advantage. He plays e3. And his pawn structure here is a little bit suspect. And the way for black to take advantage of that is to poke holes in it with e4. That's not the move he played. So why is this good? Well, if white does nothing, black's threatening in some lines to just take that pawn, and then later after he castles, play knight e5 and fork the queen and the c-pawn. And this c-pawn is really, really weak. But if white goes past with d4, play would go something like castles. You want to get your king out of the middle before you fool around. Knight h3, b6 to stop white from getting rid of the pawn with c5. Knight f4, and now knight a5, going after that pawn. If white tries to guard it with queen a4, black is in no hurry. He's going to win that pawn. He plays queen e7. Computer suggests maybe h4 to stop g5, and now bishop a6. And this pawn is pretty much a goner. Bishop to f1 eventually doesn't work either. Black can keep piling up. And this is just pretty much losing for white. So e4 would be a really good move. Black plays the natural castles.